What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Everyday Real Talk. And I hope everybody is doing well out there. I'm doing well myself. Today was a good day, I guess. I want to talk about something I realized. I know I speak a lot on growth, and growth don't always look like us trying new things. What I realized is that growth also requires us to leave certain patterns and coping mechanisms that we may have had. It requires us to leave those behind. When we usually hear people talk about growth, we hear about them gaining confidence, having peace, or gaining clarity. I know I speak a lot about that, and it that is parts of growth. But what I recently realized is that since I've seen new things start to happen in my life, I'm still holding on to some of those old coping mechanisms that I had. That's not allowing me to embrace what's coming into my life or what has come into my life. And it's not that the old version of me was wrong or these old ways that I used to do things were wrong or anything, because they served a purpose for that time, for when I needed it, right? But I don't need that anymore. It's been I'm gonna say not a difficult transition, but is that I noticed myself doing well in some areas, and then I noticed myself, I started doing the same thing again. And I would say it's the version of me that still wants to not be vulnerable and express myself wholeheartedly. And I know that sounds strange, maybe to some people. It's the fear of not knowing what'll happen when I do it. What I've realized also is we are all here to experience all types of emotions: love, hurt, fear, anger. Um, we're going to experience all of those because we're human. So, regardless of what happens on the other side of that, when I choose to share my feelings, I feel like the growth is in the experience in itself. Because whether it turns out in a good way or a bad way, I can't even say it's a bad way, regardless of what the outcome is of me doing these things. Because whether it turns out, okay, you did this and you got hurt. Okay, I learned whatever that wasn't for me. But it should never be that I'm not going to open my heart again, or I'm not going to be vulnerable anymore because this happened to me. I was talking to my daughter tonight, and it was on the topic of me calling and talking to people. I normally pretty much wait and let people call me. I think about people and I say I'm going to call them, but I just don't do it. And it could be at that time that I'm thinking about them and they happen to call me. And I say, I was just thinking about you. I was going to call you. There's something I need to leave behind, because everybody wants to feel like they're thought about, or you took no time out to call me, and not just wait for someone to call you. And it's not purposely done. It's just done out of old fears, old habits. And I even noticed that being uncomfortable doing these things and knowing that I have to leave certain things behind, it kind of feels like grief, because it's like you've known that part of yourself for so long. And that part of myself was my protection and just a way of coping. And it worked for me. So I thought, but I can just not just know, but I can feel that more is required of me now. And it's time to leave that behind. I always say that relationships are mirrors, everyone that we have relationships with. And so that's the what's being mirrored back to me, or what's being shown to me, I'm gonna say, are things that I need to improve or things that I need to change. And at first, I would try to defend myself about it, make excuses for it. But now I'm seeing that that's not what I need to be doing in my becoming of a better version of myself. And I'm already being shown a better version or experiencing a better version in my relationships. So the way I understand it is that old version of myself got me here to where I am now, and I honor and appreciate her for that. But at the same time, I realized she can't leave me where I'm going, and I'm gonna leave it at that. But yeah, I just wanted to share that because of some things that I recently experienced and noticed that I was doing, and also at the same time realizing what I need to do. So before I go, I have a reflection question for you. I just have one this time. And that question is, what version of yourself are you being asked to release in order to step into the new chapter of your life? In order to step into the next chapter of your life. I want to add this too before I go. You know, as I've been working on letting go of old versions of myself, I notice the people around me, and I kind of said this earlier, but I notice people around me reflecting parts of myself that I hadn't fully healed yet. So next week, I think I want to talk about what our relationships reveal about us and why some of our greatest teachers don't look like teachers. But yeah, that's gonna do it for this episode of Everyday Real Talk. Thank you guys for watching this episode. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so that you'll be notified when I upload new videos. Just talk to you guys later. Love you. Bye bye.